Ever noticed how the loudest person in the room usually ends up being the least respected? The one bragging about their success, flaunting their lifestyle, and acting like they figured it all out? Yeah, those are usually the first ones to fall flat on their face when reality checks in. According to Stoicism, arrogance is not strength, it's a ticking time bomb. True power is quiet. It doesn't need validation. And here's the kicker. The most dangerous person in the room is the one who doesn't need to prove anything. Today, we're diving deep into why arrogance is a fast lane to failure and what Stoicism teaches us about true confidence. Before we jump in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay until the end. We're building something real here, and your support helps this journey grow stronger every single day. Number 1. Arrogance blinds you to reality. Arrogance makes you believe you're always right, and that's exactly when you start making the worst decisions. The Stoics taught that wisdom begins when we admit how little we know. Epictetus said, "It is impossible to learn that which one thinks one already knows." Arrogant people don't learn because they think they've already graduated from life's lessons. Take business tycoons who ignore advice, fire people who disagree with them, and overestimate their skills. We all know how that ends. Cue dramatic Netflix documentary about their downfall. Meanwhile, the quiet leaders are the ones reading, listening, and adapting. The ones who keep their egos in check last longer. Stoicism values humility because it gives you clarity. When you're not obsessed with appearing smart, you actually become smart. You're open to feedback, even criticism, because your goal is growth, not ego inflation. Arrogance clouds that judgment, making you fight battles with invisible enemies in your head. So if you're walking around thinking you're the next Marcus Aurelius with a better wardrobe and a louder voice, think again. He literally ruled the Roman Empire and still questioned himself daily. Meanwhile, you're arguing with your barista because they put almond milk instead of oat. Number 2. Arrogance rejects discipline. Stoicism is built on discipline. Arrogance says, "I don't need it." That mindset is like trying to win a marathon by showing up late, skipping training, and blaming your shoes. Arrogant people think rules don't apply to them, and that's the first rule of failure. The Stoics believed in daily practice. Marcus Aurelius journaled every morning. Seneca wrote letters to improve his thinking. They knew success isn't a result of random chance, it's earned. Arrogant people want the glory without the grind. But discipline is the quiet hammer that shapes greatness. Look at athletes who stop training once they make it. They usually vanish fast. Meanwhile, the quiet ones, the ones you never see posting shirtless mirror selfies, they're still in the gym at 5 a.m., even after the gold medal. That's Stoic in spirit. Arrogance skips the process. And the process is everything. Funny how the guy shouting, "I don't need advice," is always the one asking for help when it's too late. Stoicism tells us, stay humble, stay disciplined, and stay consistent, even when no one's watching. Especially when no one's watching. Number 3. Arrogance creates enemies. An arrogant person walks into a room and thinks everyone's beneath them. A wise person walks into the same room and thinks, "What can I learn from these people?" That's a massive difference, and Stoicism is clear on which one leads to success. Relationships are everything, whether in business, family, or life. Arrogant people burn bridges faster than they can build them. Seneca once warned, "We are waves of the same sea." But arrogant people think they're the sea, and everyone else is just a puddle. Take CEOs who believe they're untouchable. They surround themselves with yes men, ignore team input, and get blindsided by problems they never saw coming. Meanwhile, great leaders build alliances. They seek wisdom in others and understand that humility strengthens connections. Even on a personal level, nobody wants to hang out with the guy who can't stop talking about how amazing he is. It's exhausting. Humility draws people in. Arrogance pushes them away. The Stoics knew that people are our greatest teachers. Arrogance turns the classroom into a battlefield. Number 4. Arrogance breaks under pressure. Arrogance builds a glass ego. pretty on the outside, but one hit and it shatters. Life will test you. Stoicism prepares you to face those trials with resilience, not panic. Arrogance? It crumbles the moment reality doesn't match the fantasy. When life humbles the arrogant, and it always does, they panic. They lash out, blame others, or spiral into despair. Stoic wisdom, on the other hand, is built on the acceptance of hardship. Epictetus was born a slave, and yet he wrote like a king. Arrogant people act like kings but break like beggars. Pressure reveals character. Arrogant people collapse because they've never practiced restraint, patience, or silence. They've never confronted failure because they believed it couldn't touch them. But Stoicism trains you to expect failure, face it, and grow stronger from it. It's like watching someone with no umbrella pretending it's not raining. Then they slip in a puddle and yell at the sky. A Stoic? He walks with calm, hood up, aware of the storm, and ready for more. Which one do you think lasts longer? Number 5. Arrogance is insecure. Here's the punchline. Arrogance isn't confidence, it's insecurity in disguise. Stoicism doesn't teach you to be loud. It teaches you to be grounded. Arrogant people scream because they're terrified of being ignored. Wise people are silent because they don't need the noise. The Stoic knows who he is. That's real strength. He doesn't need applause. He doesn't need validation from strangers. Arrogance constantly performs, like a peacock on TikTok trying to go viral. Stoicism performs for no one, it simply is. Take Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, writing personal reminders like, "You are a tiny soul carrying around a corpse." That's not insecurity. That's someone who knows where he stands in the grand scheme of things. Arrogance inflates the self. Stoicism dissolves it into purpose. So if you catch yourself needing to prove you're the smartest, strongest, or richest in the room, pause. Ask yourself, why? What are you really trying to hide? The Stoic doesn't hide. He accepts, adapts, and keeps moving. That's not just wisdom, that's freedom. Number 6. Arrogance ignores feedback. Arrogant people treat feedback like a personal insult. To them, criticism is a threat to their fragile identity. But Stoicism sees feedback as gold, painful to receive, priceless in value. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If anyone can refute me, show me I'm making a mistake or looking at things from the wrong perspective, I'll gladly change." That's not weakness. That's elite-level strength. When you're arrogant, even helpful advice sounds like an attack. You reject it not because it's wrong, but because your ego can't take the hit. Meanwhile, Stoics stay open to new ideas, even uncomfortable ones. They understand that every critique is a mirror, reflecting an opportunity to grow. Ironically, the person shouting, "I'm always right," is usually the one making the most mistakes. Think of athletes, artists, and entrepreneurs at the top of their game. They all have mentors, coaches, and advisors. Why? Because no one is too good to be corrected. Arrogant people avoid coaches because they think they're already champions. But champions never stop learning. Feedback is not a slap to the face, it's a map to something better. It's like trying to fix a broken engine with the hood closed and your eyes shut. Arrogance says, "I don't need help." Stoicism says, "Let me listen and learn." When you're open to feedback, you evolve. When you're closed off, you repeat the same errors with confidence and fail louder every time. Number 7. Arrogance lives in illusion. Arrogance thrives on fantasy. It tells you you're untouchable, brilliant, destined for greatness just because you believe it. But Stoicism is all about reality, cold, raw, sometimes uncomfortable truth. It doesn't care how great you think you are. It only cares how you show up when it counts. The Stoics had a word for living in illusions: apatheia, freedom from irrational passions and fantasies. They didn't believe in lying to themselves to feel better. They believed in clarity. Arrogant people prefer delusion. They ignore red flags, sugarcoat failures, and spin stories that feed their self-image instead of their soul. Look at the person who keeps failing but blames everyone else. My boss is jealous. The market isn't ready. People just don't get me. Arrogance wraps failure in excuses. Stoicism unwraps failure and asks, what did I do wrong? What can I improve? One path leads to growth. The other leads to stagnation in a pretty costume. You can only play pretend for so long before life demands receipts. Stoicism is your accountability partner. Arrogance is your hype man. And trust me, when things go south, the hype man disappears faster than Wi-Fi during a Zoom call. The Stoic stays grounded, no illusions, just reality and readiness. Number 8. Arrogance is emotionally fragile. Here's the plot twist. Arrogant people seem confident, but emotionally, they're glass statues in a windstorm. Stoics, on the other hand, are emotionally resilient. They don't crumble when things get tough. They've trained themselves to endure, adapt, and keep their cool under pressure. Arrogance reacts. Stoicism responds. Big difference. Arrogant people explode when criticized, panic when challenged, and sulk when ignored. Why? Because their self-worth is based on external validation. One crack in that wall, and the whole structure collapses. Stoics don't build their sense of self on compliments. They build it on principles. Let's say someone insults you in front of a crowd. The arrogant person will shout back, maybe throw in a dramatic exit. The Stoic? They'll pause, reflect, and ask, does this actually harm me? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. It's not about suppressing emotion. It's about controlling it, owning it instead of being owned by it. Imagine living a life where no one can mentally break you. Not an insult, not a failure, not even a betrayal. That's Stoicism. Arrogant people break down when life doesn't go their way. Stoics bend, but they don't snap. And in a world full of chaos, that's the superpower everyone secretly wants. Number 9. Arrogance seeks control over others. Arrogant people are obsessed with controlling others. How they think, how they respond, how they view them. It's all about image management. But Stoicism flips the script. It teaches that the only thing you truly control is yourself. That's it. Everything else? A distraction. Epictetus taught that external things are not under our power. Only our thoughts and actions are. Arrogant people don't get that. They try to manipulate situations, people, and outcomes. When things don't go their way, they feel betrayed by the universe. The Stoic feels nothing but clarity. They only invest energy where it counts. Think of a toxic manager trying to micromanage every little thing, obsessed with status and dominance. It's exhausting for everyone. Stoic leadership, however, is calm, centered, and detached from ego. It inspires trust, not fear. Arrogance creates resistance. Stoicism earns respect. Trying to control everything is like trying to hold water in your hands. It slips away, no matter how tightly you grip. But when you control yourself, your reactions, your effort, your mindset, you win. Not loudly, not arrogantly, but permanently. Number 10. Arrogance forgets mortality. Here's the ultimate Stoic mic drop. Memento mori. Remember you must die. Arrogance lives as if time is unlimited, as if life owes it more. But Stoicism remembers the clock is always ticking. Arrogant people waste time chasing status. Stoics treasure time by living with purpose. Arrogance says, I'll do it later. I have time. Stoicism says, tomorrow isn't promised. That mindset creates urgency, not panic, but precision. It makes you focus on what truly matters, instead of what looks impressive on Instagram. Stoics don't chase clout, they chase meaning. There's something humbling about facing your mortality. It strips away all the noise. Arrogance can't survive that kind of clarity. You realize it doesn't matter how many followers you have, how much money you make, or how many people clap when you walk into a room. What matters is how you live and who you become. So, here's a dose of truth. No matter how important you think you are, you're still dust in the grand scheme of things. The Stoics didn't fear that. They found freedom in it. Arrogant people run from it. But the ones who embrace it, they live wiser, deeper, and stronger. Arrogance will get you attention, but Stoicism will get you legacy. If you want to be loud in your actions. Let your humility echo louder than any brag. Let your discipline shout louder than your ego ever could. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs a reminder that real strength isn't about showing off. It's about showing up. We're building a movement, one idea at a time. Stick with us, and let's grow wiser together. Catch you in the next one. Stay grounded.